just to begin, just sort of give us a bit of a background on how you started boxing.
First been a boxing was about 8 years old. My uncle brought me up to Dunboyne. Went in, I boxed for about 2 months, I'd say, if even, probably about a month really. I came home with a black eye. I think it was a black eye or a burst lip. My ma hit the roof. That was it. Not allowed to do any boxing. Got into first year of school and I realised there was a boxing club up the road from me, Lucan Boxing Club with Carl Bravazon. So made me way up there one day, just fucking started doing my own bit of training. Ma found out, but what could you do then really? I went to find in the club like. But at the time I was still playing a lot of football. So most days I go do my football training. When that finished up I go do my boxing training and come home, sleep, go to school. So I was just on repeat like Monday to Friday, doing 2 sessions a day. That's all I really done. When I was younger I just played a lot of sport. But when I was it would have been about 15 I'd say, is when I had to make the choice between football and boxing. I was playing in the major league in football, so I was at a decent standard in football, but it was the same time where it was really, like, we lost a good few matches in football and I was fucking up the walls whenever I lost, so I wanted to take a step back and just kind of get away from team sports and just do individual sports because I just didn't like losing. Then got into boxing, man, and really just loved it. Boxing all the time, 5 days a week when I was younger, and just really fell in love with it. Won an Irish title and all, and then I went away with, I think it was the Dublin team. It was actually with Trim, it was at Michael Crute. He brought me over to, I think it was Philadelphia, and then we went for Pittsburgh. It was 2 weeks over in America boxing, and then when I came home, I had to go and do my fucking leaving cert. Done me leaving cert, and after me leaving cert, then I went on my 6-year holiday. Went off to Santa Pons with all my mates. And Joe, one of them box machines where you hit it and you get a high score. I was going around to all of them, getting free drink in all the bars and all, loving it. Then, of course, I just followed through and cracked my hand off the back of the machine. But because I was after doing 2 weeks in America, my hands were already brittle. Came back, of course, when I hit the box machine. I thought I broke my hand. I think I cracked the knuckle. Like, there's still a ridge gone in it now, but it's grand now. But it meant there was a good, 6 to 12 months when I was probably about 17, where I just couldn't do any boxing. My arm was killing me. I was getting shooting pains up into my shoulder whenever I hit anything. But I kept boxing, always stayed in the gym, just kept going my lead hand. Ended up getting into college, into DCU, got a boxing scholarship to get in there. Got through my first year fine, and then of course my hand really started acting up my second year, and then end up failing my second year of college because I was trying to do boxing with one hand and trying to train, and just my head wasn't in a good place. So in the end I actually stopped boxing for probably about a year, maybe even a bit longer. 14 months almost really. Ended up moving to Ibiza then. I lived over there for 6 months. And while I was over there, I was waiting for an email to come through from college to say whether I was after getting back in to repeat second year, because I only had to repeat 3 modules. Ended up getting the email, passed the other modules, still had to repeat the 3. So when I came back, it meant that a year in college I had to repeat second year, but I was only doing 3 modules, so it was only 3 hours a week, which meant really I was just boxing full time again. My hand was better. Got through college, then I had my final year, and my boxing coach at the time, Derek Ahern, he ended up coming up and actually starting DCU Boxing Club. So while I was in college, my amateur coach ended up kind of following me to the college, and then I was boxing full time in college with him around. Then of course, in final year, I had to do a thesis, had to do all that stuff, so put the head down for a while, kind of toned the training down a lot, but I ended up graduating. So right now, I'm actually a teacher as well, but I don't actually teach. I signed into the social welfare when I graduated, turned over, went pro, and just gave everything to boxing. At the time, I was boxing between DCU and Crumlin. I won a senior title, and then I went into boxing the elites. Didn't do that well in the elites now. I always felt like I had a more professional style when I came to boxing. And then I lost, I think it was the semi-finals in the elites. I lost to James McGivern, but I just didn't perform well in the fight. I didn't box the way I should have boxed. There were so many things that went wrong, but I kept training. I wasn't sure at that point whether I was going to continue on as an amateur or if I wanted to try and turn over, go into the pro ranks. I think it was actually Gary Cully. I went up and done a bit of sparring with him in the Coliseum. That was how I ended up coming up there. Done a few rounds with Gary, started speaking to Pete Taylor, and he just asked me what was the plan was, whether I was going to stay in the amateurs or whether I was going to turn over and go pro. I'm just not really sure how. So I came up there, just started sparring with all the lads. I was was with Davey Oliver Joyce, Gary Cully, Luke Keeler. There's loads of them up there. And then over time, Sean McComb, Tyrone McKenna, Tyrone McCullough, Paul Ryan, Tony McGlynn. Like, we had a very big team for years and everything was going great and just kept boxing away with them. I think that's where I really turned over my amateur style. I really turned into more of a professional style. And then I had my strength and conditioning coach, Darren. He was working with me in the background. So since I think 2018 is when I graduated. So in 6 years, I've been training twice a day, Monday to Friday in the morning. I've been doing a boxing session Monday to Friday in the evening, doing my strength and conditioning. Usually it was 3 conditioning, 2 strength, something kind of like that. Kind of changes from the training block, but it's always been at least 2 sessions a day. I feel like I'm after kind of establishing myself as a professional boxer now, and in terms of training and the training load, I've upped it to a point where I'm able to do 3 sessions a day. Because when I first started off, I think that's what everyone thinks. You jump in, you do your 3 sessions a day, and you kind of live the life that way. But until you're ready to actually do that, you need to keep building. It's only now in 2024 I feel like I've really actually built up to a stage where I'm able to actually complete 3 sessions properly, 3 good sessions a day. I'm at that stage of my career now. So yeah, I'm 9-0 now with 2 knockouts. I won the Irish title in my last fight. So the only problem is with the Irish title, I won at 147 pounds, which is welterweight. Really, I'm a junior welterweight. So my next fight, I'm hoping to get the Irish title at my actual weight, the 140 pound Irish title. That's the one I really want. So tell you what, man, I remember when I was 3-0 as a pro, I dislocated my shoulder in sparring. But it was a subluxated shoulder, so the shoulder popped out, but then it popped straight back in. So like, I could move it again straight away, but I knew something happened, but I didn't know what actually happened. So it was 12 months trying to figure out what the injury was. I was getting MRI scans, paying paying 200-300 quid every time you're getting a scan. I was going to see physios. They were giving me programs that weren't working. I was going to see specialists. They couldn't figure out what was wrong. Eventually, I seen a specialist. I can't even remember his name. He was in the Mater Hospital in Dublin City Centre, and he told me that I needed to get an MRI angiogram. It's basically where they inject ink into the shoulder, and then they give you the MRI scan, and they can see just a few things more clearly. Apparently went in and got that done. I dislocated my shoulder, I tore the tendon, I tore the labrum in 2 places, I tore the rotator cuff. But while that was all tore, I was still able, like 3RM press with a dumbbell. That was at like 35 kilos. So I was still moving good weight with a dislocated shoulder and everything torn. So I couldn't figure out what was wrong. Got the MRI scan, figured out what was wrong. Went and got the shoulder surgery price. My God. I think the shoulder surgery was 5 or 6 grand. But then the physios, the MRI, the sports surgery clinic, the appointments that they book in, like all in all, I spent 12 grand out of my own pocket to fix my shoulder. But while I was going in for that, I seen like his name was Colin Moore, and he was a surgeon. He was telling me that this not might work. I could spend all this money and it could just be a bum deal. My shoulder could just be could be gone anyway. So I took the gamble. I got loan at like 4 or 5 grand off my missus. Had a bit of money to the side as well, and just went for it. Gambled on my shoulder. Put all the money into it. Yeah, thank God it actually worked, and I'm still boxing now. That was like how many years ago that was, but yeah, I'm very fortunate to come out on the other side of that injury, and yeah, very thankful.
Yeah, I mean, that's extensive. Obviously, a lot of people don't realise how much money does sort of get drained when you're a professional boxer, never mind if you've got an injury. Especially being in Ireland, there's no NHS, is there? So that's a ridiculous amount of money to be paid.
I still only missed 3 grand, bro. It was straight.
That's the thing, mate. What sport in the world are you taking a loan out and paying 12 grand just so that you can get your face punched?
Yeah. Then even the other side, like every year you're paying 500 quid for medical expenses to get the licence. Like after my fight there, my last fight, I thought it broke my hand. Got paid a bit of money, but like that money just went back into getting MRI scans done on my hand, getting x-rays done on my hand, doing physio on my hand, paying for strength and conditioning. So like, people just don't see it's not what it's made out to be. Like, yeah, you can make a bit of money in boxing, but only the 1-2% really do make that money. I do believe I'll get to the pinnacle of the sport once I keep on the path that I'm on now and just keep the head down. But my God, it's fucking rough, man. I didn't think it was gonna be this hard, but I signed up to it. Yeah, like
Tough
going to the
life.
gym, I turned my dad's garage. My dad had a motorbike, so I had to build another fucking shed like around the side. And he got put a boxing bag in it during COVID, and then over time, just a few of my mates came down and started doing a bit of training. So I put a bit of flooring in, put the like the rubber mats in on top of the floor, and hung a few more boxing bags. And then over time, it just kind of got a bit bigger and bigger. Like it turned into a gym without me meaning for it to turn into a gym. But without that, would be lost. Like that's my real job. You know, that's what actually provides me Monday to Friday with money. I'm still at a part of my career now where I'm not actually making any money from professional boxing. Yeah, and like made a little bit of money off the last fight, but not enough to live on. You know, so without having the gym there, like I can't see how I'd be able to do this otherwise.
That's it, mate. It's tough, and sort of there's no sort of way out for a lot of boxers. Like you can have the most amount of skills in the world, the biggest talent in the world, but see if you're not also selling tickets for the likes of your promoters and that, you're just never going to make it to the point where you're making that, like you said, 1 or 2%.
Yeah, 100%. Then the other side is as well, like when I first started as a professional boxer, I was selling like over 100 tickets. Like you always do well in your first few fights, I know that, but my problem was all my friends moved to Australia. A lot of my fans are now over in Australia, and like they're not gonna fucking buy tickets over there. Like so, yeah, it was another step backwards for me. Just everyone leaving the country.
Sort of talking a wee bit there about COVID, you were saying there, obviously qualified as a teacher in that, but world completely shut down. How were you sort of affected boxing wise? Because sort of everything stopped.
Well, we were still training full time in the Coliseum, Ballyfermot, because elite sports person and professional athletes were still able to train. So, like, everything was still really okay for us most days. But what annoyed me was I didn't have a great strength and conditioning area in my own gym, and that's the part that I was lacking. So, my strength and conditioning coach, Darren, at the time, he actually started renting out a premise up in Blanche. We got our own keys to a gym. And once we got that, I was boxing Monday to Friday in the Coliseum, and I was doing my strength and conditioning Monday to Friday up in the other place, the gym that he rented out. So really everything was grand. And then as well, I didn't close down my own gym, so I still had everyone coming in training with me. Because all the other gyms were closed, I actually made a bit of money. So it was great. It was.
It sounds like it worked out, yeah, because I know like a lot
It
of
worked out all right, it did, yeah.
yeah, a lot of
It
boxers
worked out
back
all
home,
right.
yeah, a lot of the boys back home just weren't training, so they sort of like complained that they feel like they had sort of pretty much a full year of development just sort of missed. But for the likes of yourself,
Yeah.
you probably then gained that on a lot of the competition.
We gained it, but the only problem was we weren't getting fights, you know. So you're doing a lot of head sparring, you're doing a lot of training. The bigger lads, as in like the lads that were signed to promotional companies, they were still able to box behind closed doors. But the likes of me, who didn't have a big promoter, I was still doing all the sparring, still taking all the headshots, but I wasn't getting paid for it. Now, I was getting paid in terms of I was learning on the job, and I was still getting rounds in, so I was still developing as a professional athlete. But you don't want to be taking headshots when you're not getting paid, when you're not in camp, and you know, there's not a payday coming in, you know?
Yeah, mate, because obviously that would just start sort of taking off your career, won't it? It will just start be chipping at it, chipping at it. If you're not getting paid and you're not moving up rankings, it's just a bit sort of frustrating.
Yeah, 100%, man.
We'll jump back a wee bit, mate, and just sort of talk about your amateur career. So you said like you done the senior title, you fought
James McGivern,
James
yeah.
McGivern,
Just got
sorry.
signed to Queensbury.
You said you weren't really yourself, so at that point you didn't feel like you performed well. Like, how much have you changed that style? Because I remember you saying when you came through with that stable, it all sort of developed from boxing him to then turning pro and having the style you have now.
Well, that was the thing. Like when you're an amateur, it's a real quick pace. It's like it's point scoring there. Like you've only got 3 rounds to do. So it nearly took me 3 rounds to warm up back then. You know, by the time I was getting into the fight was over. That used to always really annoy me. So yeah, you could say do a better warm up before the fight, but really, I wanted more rounds. I didn't want to be fighting 3 rounds. Like I'm a 10 round fighter. I always felt like I always was going to be a 10 round fighter. So 3 rounds was just never enough, in my opinion. So in terms of changing styles, it was really just actually sitting down a bit more on the punches, not getting hit with silly shots, not bouncing as much. Like going from, Joe, when you're an amateur, you're up on your toes, you're bouncing a lot. When you get into the pro game, you more walk like a Mexican. You want to preserve your energy because you're there for 10 rounds. You're not up on your toes for 10 rounds. You need to learn how to box just a little bit differently, that you're able to hold your power for all 10 rather than only hold it for the early rounds and stay up on your toes, not getting hit. I always felt I was better at really kind of just sitting down in the shots, pushing people back and coming forward. Now, at the same time, I'm able to box on the back foot, but I'm more of a come forward fighter, I feel, especially now in the pro game.
You know what? It's like you said, there's something I hated in the amateur amateurs, like, I loved going on the back foot, catching you with shots and that, but by the end of the 3 rounds, it's so quick pace. Like, when we were sparring, I could do 7-10 rounds as an amateur, easy sparring, then going into 15 the week after, and then you go to fight, and at the end of a 3 round fight, you're fucked. Like, you're wrecked. And then I was like, I don't know what's going on here, but it's the jumping about, the flicking to get the points. So I always felt like, even though it seemed like my stamina was bad, it was just the pace of it. I knew the pros would sort of suited me. So do you think now, as a pro, your style, your skill set, the graft you're putting in every day, how sort of far do you see yourself going with it?
I want to touch on world levels, I really do. I want to try and get up to that stage. I want to win a world title before I do retire. And yeah, like, that's been my goal since, like, I think Derek actually only sent me a picture. We had an athlete development program. I wrote it out when I was 12. And the short-term goals are like win Irish title, all that stuff, like win the Dublins and all. The long-term goal is still the same, win a world title. So it's something I've always wanted to do, and I believe I will get there.
It's mad, isn't it? I used to have the same thing up my wall: win the Scottish title, win a world title. And it's just crazy because now, like, obviously I'm 31 years old. It's not boxing, but you have goals. You're chasing goals of a child and you're chasing goals of a teenager, but yet they still just mean so much to you, even as an adult.
That's the thing. Nothing's changed. Like, I've won all them little Dublin fucking things as an amateur when I was young. I went on, I won a senior title. If I stuck around, I know I would have won the league title, but I didn't stick around. Like, I got beat by James McGivern, and in my mind, I was done with the amateurs at that stage. I wanted to just turn over and go pro. But yeah, I ended up doing it, turned over, went pro. Since then, I've won the BUI Celtic title. I won that on the 9th of February this year. Then this year again, I've won the Irish title. That was on the 4th of October, just gone. I'm going to win another Irish title, and then hopefully after that, moving on to European level and just keep climbing up the rankings, you know?
So obviously you've got the Irish title. You've just said your plan sort of for the next few years up to the Europeans and going on there. I just quickly want to talk about sort of your promotion with Jay, because I don't know him myself.
Yeah.
But we spoke, had a quick conversation, and he forwarded your name. He was like, look, get in touch with this one, do an interview and stuff. And every boy I've spoke to from his sort of promotion, everybody's got nothing but the best words to say about him.
Jay's a fucking great promoter, he is. To be honest, I'd be lost without being dead honest. Like, when I first signed over as a pro, I was signed with a promotion called Love Irish Boxing. Like, they had a load of fighters signed, so I was never priority with them. Then that went under. And then there was a lad in my gym called Butch. He started ABC Promotions. It was good while it lasted, but again, I just wasn't getting the right fights. And then he ended up joining with Jay, and now JB Promotions happened. Since I've signed with Jay, I've got all my Irish title fights. I got the BUI Celtic title fight. I've had other fights as well that I felt were the correct fights in order to develop me. Like, you know, not every fight was a tough fight now, but they were the correct fights in order for me to learn and grow as a professional fighter, you know? Yeah. So I think in terms of managing me and in terms of promoting me, he's done a great job.
So would you recommend Jay then? So any sort of Irish boxer that's turning over and kind of wants to still fight in Ireland, would you recommend him as the promoter to go to?
Oh, 100%. Fella's running shows every second week. Like, the shows that he's running, they're all great, you know? He's getting the right fights for the right people, and he's not charging an arm and a leg. Like, I've seen the prices of some shows that we are paying your way on. They're fucking extortion, you know? And I've been there, I've paid them. Like, when I had nothing else, when I had no other options, I paid them prices for them shows. And, like, not that I regret it, but I just wish I had just someone to point in the right direction back then that Jay's after doing for me now, you know?
Yeah, great. So sort of just, we'll move on to your last fight. Matthew Tyndall, I think that's how you say his name?
Yeah, Matthew Tyndall.
Yeah, so 10 rounds, first 10 rounder as a professional. You're obviously talking about you wanted to do that, but actually doing it, how did you feel? The pace, the distance, what was it like?
Oh, it was grand, to be honest, man. Like, we've been training for 10 rounds for a long time, so we kind of know what we were getting ourselves involved with. Like, even in training, we were getting like 3 sparring partners. We do 3 rounds with the first, 3 rounds with the second, and 4 rounds with the last. So we were well able for 10 rounds, you know. And then on fight night, I was just very confident. Everything fell the way it should have fallen, and yeah, all the stars aligned, as they say.
Yeah, it's class. That's sort of like the Mayweather training, the free in, free out. You know, just keep it fresh.
It's a fucking nightmare, man. How straight, but it works, you know.
Yeah, that's it. Gets you the results. So we actually spoke. Well, myself, I spoke to Matthew, and he was talking about sort of the fight itself, and he was saying he never really showed up for it. He said he was just off on the night. He said that yous have done sort of sparring in the past and stuff, and he feels like you'd think he wasn't his best on that night, but he's like he learned so much for it. He thinks maybe it was just one of those fights he had to learn, and maybe a bit early in his career, but he wants those fights. But he said that he's a better version than that. So just kind of want to get your thoughts on sparring him against then sort of fighting him on that night.
Like, the Matthew that I fought wasn't the same Matthew that I've sparred. When me and Matthew spar, it usually is always close rounds. I just didn't feel like he turned up on the night. He's a far better boxer than how he presented himself there. I don't know, it was the nerves or just had an off night, whatever it was, but that's not the Matthew Tyndall that I know. You know, he just didn't turn up on the night, being honest.
Yeah, he's done really well, hasn't he, in the amateurs and stuff, and now I think he's 8 fights in a year, 9 fights in a year. Yourself as well.
8, yeah. It's a lot. It's 10 months. I think it was 8 fights in 10 months. Something crazy like that. Like, he got them in, fair play to him, but professional boxing, amateur boxing, I just think they're 2 different sports. You kind of do need to just not rush it so much. Just kind of just try and learn from every fight and develop. Like, I know it did annoy me. I wasn't as active as I should have been during COVID and during the years where I didn't have a good manager or promoter looking after me. But while I was in the gym, I learned a lot in them years, you know. It wasn't like them years just went by and I wasn't doing anything. Like, I was developing myself as a professional fighter and I was learning the tricks of the trade as I was doing that. So, yeah, I just thinking, Matthew, he's only doing this 10 months. Like, he has such potential ahead of him, but just don't rush it, you know?
Yeah, because he's flew through it, and I think he's fighting again now next month as well, so he's smashing through.
He's going for
it. That's it. So sort of, obviously, you're going to add this Irish title now. I know there's a lot of sort of professionals out there. It's not that you want to protect your own, but you kind of have to. It's a sport where you lose one fight and a lot of opportunities can come crashing down, which is a bit crazy. So any domestic sort of matches you want, you know, you've got a lot of sort of boxers there. You got Paddy Donovan right at the top, you know, you got John Joe Nevin there as well, Ryan O'Rourke. So do you see sort of any of them as a possible matchup, or are you setting your sights past Ireland onto the European and avoid that?
Well, it's hard really, you know, like what to do, because to be honest, like, I did win the welterweight title, but I'm not a welterweight, I'm a junior welterweight. Like, me doing that weigh-in, like, I've done a bit of sauna the morning of the weigh-in and I cut my calories or whatever, but like, it was a handy weight cut. Like, I could have made 140 that day, but I just had to make 147, so I don't really see myself hanging around that welterweight. There's a few fights I'd love to take, like the Dylan Moran fight. I would have loved to take that on the 7th of December, headline the show down in Waterford. That would have been great, but just didn't happen. Tyrone McKenna got the call instead, but yeah, I don't think I'm going to campaign at welterweight, really. I think I'm going to move back down to my own weight class, win the Irish title at junior welterweight, and then progress my career on from there.
So junior, sorry, I might be a mistake, is that super light or is it up one?
It's 140 pounds, so it'd be like super light, junior welterweight, whatever super you want to call it.
Who you got Ireland super light? It's like Sean McComb.
Sean McComb, he's way past me.
Yeah, Pierce O'Leary, they're like the top boys. Maybe more like sort of Tyrone McKenna, David Ryan.
Yeah, I think David Ryan was the one that was meant to be fighting, but that fight fell through already. So I'd say I'm going to fight Dave Ryan next for the Irish title. I was meant to fight a few times already, but I think my bout has been very unlucky just in terms of fights falling through and stuff like that. So yeah, I'd say David Ryan. He could be next. He could be the one after. I'm not really too sure, but I'd say it will be him for the Irish title because he won the BUI Kelly title, which makes him mandatory. So
good fight. I think that'd be a good fight. Dave Ryan, yeah, because he's 6-0, I believe. So tasty.
No, or 7-0. I'm actually not really too sure now, but he's a good boxer, so I'd say he's going to be next. Yeah.
We'll just sort of finish up, mate. I'll ask you a question, just a bit of fun really. So, fantasy fight, any fighter from any era in their prime and in your prime, any stadium in the world, anywhere you want, who you fighting, why you fighting them, and how do you think the fight will pan out?
That's a good question. Who would I like to fight? And they have to be a professional boxer.
Yeah, well, if you want to pick an amateur boxer, Yeah, but let's leave the celebrities out. Because there'll be too many, there'll be a list, won't there?
I'd say, just because he's my favourite boxer, I'd probably have to be Floyd Mayweather. Not saying I beat him, but he is someone I'd love to share a ring with. In terms of the stadium, probably like to do it in Crow Park, really, because it's the biggest one. Nice, it's at home. Yeah, I'd say he beat me on points. But yeah, no, it is a fight that I'd love to get. Floyd Mayweather in his prime, me prime, headlight in Crow Park, but yeah, slim chances of that happening, bud.
Yeah, well, you know what? He's still fighting. You never know.
You never know. Yeah, get him when he's old.
That's it. He may as well. You know what? He's still got it though, doesn't he?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, the sponsor is really like to thank would be the Ink Factory, Robbie Conley and Tom Lynch. They've supported me since I was actually an amateur. They've been sponsoring me, so they've been with me since before day one. We'll call it Mark Murray out in the DPF centre. Oh God, the stuff that man's done for me, I genuinely wouldn't be driving if he wasn't sponsoring me. Like, he's a mechanic, everything. He just, he's always looking after me. There's a lot that I'd like to mention. Yeah, as well, my S&C coach Darren Young, he's helped me for years. I know he's not a sponsor, but he is someone that's put a lot of time into me over the years, and I don't even feel like, since I've had the shoulder surgery done and all, and when I started doing the rehab, things weren't going properly, but without him backing me everywhere, I don't think I'll be back boxing. The K78 Fitness, Darren Malloy and Luke, he runs a great gym. He's been sponsoring me the past few years, and yeah, he's really supported me in this journey. Leagues have hired, they've done a lot for me over the past while. They rent out like gardening equipment and all around league, slipping around the surrounding areas. So just a good home business that gave me a lot of help. And the Middle Shop Pub, they came on board and sponsored me there in my last fight. It's just been great having all, like, local businesses actually jumping on board and giving me a hand. And then the last one as well, it came on board with my last fight, was the cleaning company, Luke Joyce. You know what I mean? Just people like that helping me. It's great, you know. It's something that the stories out me, what? Let me try doing that one again. He's really helped me over the past while. He's jumped on board and sponsored me in my last fight and promoted me on his Instagram page, and yeah, just really helped me in my career, and I'm really appreciative of it.
Take two, perfect there.
Take two, yeah. I just seen your page just come up on the, For You page.
Yeah.
I seen it come up on that, yeah.
We've got over 70 international elites wearing us now, 12 Olympians wear us in Paris, 5 of them medalled. Joe Cardina and Anthony Kikachi wear our socks, but after 1 month we won the award for best boxing socks in the world. So what I'll do is I'll get your address, I'll get your shoe size, mate, and I'll send you a free pair of socks out for doing the interview as well.
Deadly, boy. Thank you. So appreciate that.
So we've got different colours. We've got the red, we've got the blue. They're obviously the amateur colours, but we've got the white and we've got the black as well. So just let us know in the messages, mate. We'll get them sent out for you.
100%, pal. I'll shoot that out to you now. Subscribe to Southpaw for more boxing content. You won't be disappointed.